Elliott Forrest with you from WQXR with another artist check-in today, checking in with clarinetist Anthony McGill. Always good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Right off the bat, congratulations. You are the latest recipient of the Avery Fisher Prize. How did you find out about it?
Oh gosh. Well, there was a little bit of a surprise casual dinner, and I was sitting around the table with a few people like Deborah Borda and a couple other friends, and I just thought it was just a fun, random Tuesday dinner. And sometime into the dinner, like 30, 40 minutes in, Deborah said, Anthony, come with me. I just want to talk to you about something really quickly. We went into another room and she dropped this news on me. And it was pretty shocking, actually, because it was totally out of the blue, totally out of nowhere. And obviously it was a really big deal.
And what did that mean to you? You must have obviously known about the prize previously, and maybe some people who had gotten it before. What does it mean to you to get this award?
Well, it's actually probably the greatest honor, one of the greatest honors of my life, because I know about it very well because I received the Avery Fisher Career Grant about 21 years ago. And that really changed my life and kind of started my career path, really. And then to get this award, it's just, for me, it just means that I've been kind of doing the right things, that I've been kind of, there's recognition that, I've been playing the clarinet well, but much more than that.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I think much more than that. It just means that, my life's work is valuable, and my life's work has been meaningful for others, and that's a pretty amazing thing to be acknowledged for.
Depending upon when people are watching this, there's an event online, September 15th, 6 o'clock, Lincoln Center at lincolncenter.org/2020 Avery Fisher Prize that officially awards you. And there's a lot of great things that people will say about you, but that's when you officially get the award on September 15th. There's a cash prize associated with this. Do you have plans for it already?
No, I have plans for a portion of it, which there was a portion of the monies were going to go to the live celebration, which is not happening. And so the Avery Fisher Artist Program gave that amount of money to me to be able to donate to a charity or nonprofit of my choice. And so I chose to use that money to give to students, to music students. And at the Music Advancement Program at Juilliard, where I'm an artistic director, we have decided to start a program by which we can give kids scholarships to go to music festivals when we can go to them again, and music camps and instruction during the summer. So a specific scholarship program that will eventually be an endowed program that we're working on the details of, and you'll hear about at some point, by which all of the money that comes from this endowment will go directly to students and their families. Because all of the instruction that they get during the year, which is so important, is really helped by the study that you can continue during the summer. I know the summertime was an important part of my growth as a young musician, and it's really important that financial considerations don't have to be a roadblock for students getting further study during the summer.
Good for you. Before we started today, I talked about this documentary many years ago that I hosted on A&E about your brother. I'm curious about the two of you. What was it about your family that created two really great classical music lovers, much less players? Why were you attracted to this music?
I think the initial the initial start of our love of classical music just happened because we were playing instruments, and the genre itself was kind of secondary. So my parents just believed in giving us access to all kinds of different things, whether it's, you know, great academic programs or sports or music and art, because they were both visual artists, and they were teachers as well. So they really believed in education first and foremost. So, you know, starting the instrument just happened to be that our first early teachers taught, you know, kind of work, you know, classically trained, except for my first clarinet teacher who was a jazz saxophone player. But besides that, that just kind of happened organically. And falling in love with this music was something that is very easy to do.
If I can, I'd like to ask you about this video that went viral in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. You played America the Beautiful. What inspired you to play that particular video, that performance?
Yeah, I woke up one morning that week and I was feeling devastated and helpless and full of pain and wanting to find a way to express myself as a musician when, you know, we hadn't performed in months, and you know, just the fear of what COVID was going to do to us and individually and us as a nation. And I wrote some words down about why I think it's important that people are allowed to protest, and that it's a very American thing to do, to protest for freedoms and equality, and racial equality specifically, and to protest against racial injustice. I think it's a very American thing. And so my decision to play that piece was I had a conversation with my wife that morning, and you know, we were talking about what I would play if I were to play my clarinet, because I wanted to not play my clarinet at all. Actually, I wanted to just let the words and the gesture of kneeling on two knees take care of that. And I was thinking about Amazing Grace and some other things, and she suggested America the Beautiful, and I was like, that's perfect. And then as I, you know, looked online and I was looking at different versions of the piece, and I was kind of listening to the words and reading the words, the lyrics of this piece, it proved to be especially meaningful for me. And while I was playing it, you know, I decided to change it a little bit. I missed a note here or there, and it went into a minor key. And I realized that this was going to be a part of this written statement of protest, really, of saying that this is okay for us not to be okay with these things going on in the world. And it's my little part that I can do to speak to that, to kind of raise my voice against, you know, this kind of violence and racial violence and injustice.
We've all been evaluating this particular summer racial injustice. It's come about in a way, I think, that it's been stronger, and nobody is not, I think, about anyone honest is not evaluating their own lives, their own company, their own bias. At New York Public Radio, we've done this in a very serious way, and I have to say, and I know you must know this number, I was stunned to read that you're the first African American in a principal role at the New York Philharmonic, and one of only 3 African Americans to have a full-time chair in the New York Philharmonic in 178 years. I'm not pointing fingers just at the New York Philharmonic. Again, where there's a lot of self-evaluation going on, but I was stunned by that figure. It must be stunning to you, and I'm just curious what it means to you, and what the New York Philharmonic is doing to try to change that.
Yeah, I think it's probably not as stunning to me as it is to many other people. You know, growing up in America as a Black kid, it's not really shocking to me, especially in our field. But that's the kind of state of the world. You know, when certain populations of the world weren't allowed to participate you know, in America, you know, the Black population specifically, weren't allowed to participate in American traditions and human traditions for so long because their lives weren't valued or weren't appreciated. That's really the state of our society and what it was founded on. So that part isn't as shocking to me. I think what's more shocking is just the slow state of progress regarding issues of diversity and issues of inclusion and equity, frankly, in organizations in our societies. So, you know, kind of bringing up the rear and getting things going has been something that orchestras, that classical music has been talking about for many years, 30 years perhaps, but only recently has really, and maybe perhaps only this summer, started to really put a point on trying to like create actual change and understand the reasoning and the value of that change, of why do we need specific kind of representation. And I think more we all get educated about the history of that kind of discrimination against, you know, certain populations of our country and our world, and how insidious it was and still can be, having those honest conversations and learning about that, we all start to realize, oh, that's why we need to care about these issues. That's why we need to care that perhaps with all of the great players and musicians out there from diverse backgrounds, brown and Black people, and specifically, you know, that we need to do better.
I've been following you for some time now, and since the lockdown, since the closing of the concert halls, it seems like you have been as busy as ever this particular summer, and during the lockdown, you did a beautiful performance for WQXR Outdoors for our version of the Mostly Mozart Festival that we brought on to the radio. And upcoming, you'll be honored by the New York Youth Symphony, in which I'll be hosting that gala as well. Does it feel like strange that the performances aren't happening in the concert hall and you're maybe as busy as ever?
It is so strange, Elliott. I mean, at the beginning of this thing, I would have never imagined that I would be busy doing anything. You know, at the beginning, I was barely touching my clarinet because, like a lot of artists, and you know, I was so just depressed about everything going on, and like, you know, just going cold turkey with performances and concerts. So to have it be so busy now, and then we're just starting teaching at the schools I teach at now, and with all of the different online talks and performances and streaming opportunities, it is really weird. I'll be honest with you. But, you know, so many organizations need us to be active to support them. And, you know, whether it's QXR or whether it's a small chamber presenting series in the middle of the country, I've been really, honestly, it's as stressful as it is to have so much of these things happening. It gives me hope that everyone is trying to keep the music going in whatever way possible. And so it's hard for me not to say yes. It's hard for me not to say yes to participating in kind of keeping these things going, you know.
Congratulations to you again, Anthony McGill, the latest recipient of the Avery Fisher Prize. Again, if you're watching this on or before September 15th, 6 o'clock, Lincoln Center at home, lincolncenter.org, /2020 Avery Fisher Prize for the official ceremony. And throughout the day, on that day, WQXR will be playing your music as well. Congratulations to you.
Thanks so much.